Hello friends! This month we are talking about character. Abraham Lincoln once said that character is like a tree and reputation is its shadow. We care about the shadow, but in reality, we should think about the tree. And in fact, we often care about how we will look in the eyes of others. We strive to show our best qualities to others, but it is always better to be rather than to seem. But how is our character formed? In the last video, we started answering this question. Be sure to watch it. And today, we will continue. So character is formed in difficulties. Therefore, what we go through, life's challenges, hardships, even conflicts, can all shape our character. Some people become very good trainers for us, helping us to develop resilience, forgiveness, and compassion. Therefore, view everything you go through not as a tragedy, but as an opportunity to learn and change. Let me share another quote. Winston Churchill said, "Great people often had an unhappy childhood, the grip of rivalry, the harsh pressure of circumstances, periods of distress, the stings of contempt and mockery. Trials in early years are necessary to awaken relentless determination and tenacious ingenuity, without which great achievements are rarely accomplished." So, any difficulty can act as a teacher and a trainer for developing the best qualities of our character. Although these can be painful experiences, they are sometimes simply necessary to reevaluate our values. It is important to learn to view life's challenges as opportunities for growth. Even if you fail, you can learn a lot to succeed next time. Difficulties shape our character.
Но
How can you make difficulties your teachers and not let them destroy you? First, do not be afraid to accept challenges and trials. You cannot develop resilience, for example, if you do not go through circumstances where you need to stand firm, or it is impossible to learn forgiveness until you have been wronged. And kindness can only be considered genuine when it is shown to people who have not been kind to you. Although such situations are painful, they expose our hearts, and we can see what needs correction. In the Christian New Testament, there are words that say, "My brothers, whenever you face trials of any kind, consider it nothing but joy." So think about it this way and know that in the trials of faith you gain resilience. These are the words of Apostle James. The apostle does not mean that the trial itself is joyful, but that it has a positive impact on our soul, strengthens character, helps us see what needs correction and reinforcement, and therefore calls us to face these life challenges with joy. Secondly, if you are destined to go through something, it means you can handle it. What do I mean? Nothing happens by chance. Keep in mind that if you have indeed encountered this, it definitely means you were prepared for it, and you will handle it. Also in the Christian New Testament, it is said, "But remember that none of the trials you have faced were insurmountable for man." And God is indeed faithful. He will never allow you to be tested beyond your strength. He will also provide a way out with every trial, making you able to stand firm in it. But what if a person cannot cope and breaks under the weight of difficult circumstances? Yes, that can happen, but again, where does a person draw the strength to rise? In the confidence that they can handle these circumstances. And even with failures, there are higher powers that will not abandon and will support them in that moment. So if you fall, get up, you can handle this. You never let failure break you. Therefore, thirdly, never take failure personally. That is, do not let circumstances or other people define who you are. For example, failure does not mean you are a failure. This attitude is important because if a person labels themselves, it affects their ability to find the strength to correct these character traits. For example, if a person tells themselves, "I am lazy," it will be harder for them to find the strength to be diligent when the moment requires it. Or if he perceives himself as weak and insecure, it will be difficult for him to show resilience when the moment calls for it. And one more thing, be honest about what needs to be changed or done differently. There are always new lessons to be learned from the situation, and there is always something we can improve. Be honest with yourself. Reevaluate your reactions, relationships, behavior, and the algorithm of actions taken. What can be improved from this? Ask yourself, what should my reaction have been? How should I have acted? What will I do differently next time? Do not try to justify yourself, but honestly admit to yourself and God and ask Him to help you change. And in conclusion, since I am mainly speaking to believers, think about all the wonderful people we admire. Reading about them in the Bible or Christian history, would many of them have become who they are if they hadn't gone through many difficulties in life? Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and later unjustly accused and thrown into prison. But all of this seemed to only strengthen him. He remained resilient, kind, and compassionate, even to those who betrayed him. And look how he was elevated. Ask yourself, what are your difficulties and trials preparing you for? What elevation awaits you ahead? And David, think about him, unjustly exiled and wandering for a couple of decades. Did he raise his hand against his oppressor? Didn't he become stronger and more generous as a result of everything that happened to him? And wasn't this the result of all the tribes of Israel crowning him? What would have happened if these people had given up, thrown in the towel? Would they have taken a compromising path? What would happen? Today, I want to urge you to stand up for your future and your families, your children, for character determines destiny. Follow the advice given above, and God Himself will lift you up. And the best example for all Christians is the Lord Jesus Christ. As a human, He showed us an example of resilience, patience, love, forgiveness, humility, gentleness, and compassion. If we call ourselves His followers, then He is our example. And it seemed that He was humiliated on the cross, but God Himself glorified Him. In the same way, God will lift up your life